Sometimes the biggest opportunities, the most powerful investments on the planet, are hidden in plain sight. They're tucked away inside things we think we understand, but maybe we don't. Today, we're going to crack open one of the most powerful and misunderstood asymmetric bets in the entire global energy market. Okay, so take a look at this. This is the heart of a nuclear reactor. I know, it doesn't look like much, right? But this little ceramic cylinder, it's a total sleeping giant. It's an absolute marvel of material science, and it holds a secret that pretty much bends the laws of economics. Because what can this tiny thing do? Well, how about this? It can generate over $10,000 in electricity revenue. That's not a typo. $10,000 from something that weighs less than 3 pennies. So that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth is this possible? How do we take a piece of ceramic that costs just a few bucks and unlock over $10,000 of value from it? Well, that is the central mystery we are going to solve together, right now. The whole answer, it all starts with a property of physics that's honestly a little hard to wrap your head around: energy density. Just look at these numbers. One pellet, has the same energy as a whole ton of coal, or 3 barrels of oil. I mean, imagine trying to power a city with a literal mountain of coal. Now imagine doing the same job with just a handful of these things. That's the game-changing power we're talking about.
All right, so we've seen the incredible potential packed into this thing, but what we really need to know is how much does it actually cost to create one? So let's follow the money. Let's build one of these pellets from scratch and see where every cent goes.
This whole journey, from basically just dirt in the ground to a super dense power source, well, it happens in 4 main stages. It all kicks off with mining and milling. Then, we move on to the really high-tech stuff, conversion and enrichment. And finally, we wrap it all up with fuel fabrication, where the magic pellet is actually made. First up, we gotta get our hands dirty. Huge, massive operations pull uranium ore right out of the earth. It's then milled down and processed into this bright yellow powder you see here, which they call yellow cake. You can think of it as the raw flour for the entire nuclear industry. It's the absolute essential starting ingredient. And the cost of all that heavy machinery, all that digging and grinding that gets attributed to our single tiny 7-gram pellet, you ready for this? About $1. A buck. That's our starting line. We've barely even started and we've hardly spent a thing. Okay, now for the really cool, almost science fiction part. That yellow cake powder gets converted into a gas. Then that gas is fed into these giant centrifuges that spin at literally supersonic speeds. It's this incredible force that separates out the really good stuff, the fissile U-235 isotope, making the fuel way, way more powerful. And here's where it gets really wild. All of that incredible science, that mind-boggling engineering, it adds just a few dimes to the cost. 10 cents for conversion, 10 cents for enrichment. It seems way too cheap to be true, but the numbers are the numbers. We're still barely over $1. Okay, final step. That enriched uranium is turned back into a fine powder, pressed into its iconic little shape, and then baked in a super hot furnace at over 1700 degrees Celsius. What comes out is this incredibly hard, stable ceramic pellet, totally ready to unleash its power. Now, this is the most expensive part of the whole front-end process, but it kind of makes sense, right? This is the step where we transform a highly specialized material into a safe, stable, and perfectly engineered fuel source that's ready to power our world. So, let's add it all up. About $1 for the mine, 20 cents for all that high-tech conversion and enrichment, and maybe a couple of bucks, let's say $2.80 for the fabrication. All in, what are we looking at? A grand total of about $4. $4 in, $10,000 out? So here's the crucial question. Where did all that value go? And why isn't this front-page news? So we've seen this incredible, almost unbelievable profit potential locked inside one tiny pellet. But if the math is this good, why isn't every investor on Earth just piling into this? Well, the answer lies in the industry's best-kept secret, its very structure. The entire uranium supply chain is, well, it's opaque. It's intentionally hard to see through. You've got this fragmented system with tons of different companies. You've got confidential, long-term contracts that hide the true prices. So at each layer, the profit margin of the layer before it gets buried. And then you throw in geopolitical secrecy and national security concerns. It's a black box, and it's a black box by design. And this quote just nails it. It gets right to the heart of the matter. This lack of transparency, it's not a bug, It's a feature. And it's that feature that creates this massive opportunity for anyone who's willing to do the homework and look past the headlines.
So we've seen how the industry's whole structure creates this mispricing. Now let's talk about how an investor could actually capitalize on it. How do you separate the noise from the real signal here?
Well, you've got the obvious play, which is investing in the mining companies, the guys digging the yellow cake out of the ground. But this is a super high risk, high reward bet on the raw price of uranium. It's a bit like buying a lottery ticket. The hidden alpha, though, that lies in the midstream, it's with the companies that control those strategic technological choke points we just walked through. And when I say the miner play is like a lottery ticket, I am not kidding. Less than 1%, fewer than 1 in 100 of these small exploration companies ever actually reach production. It is just a graveyard of broken dreams and lost capital. Okay, so we've identified this incredible mispriced opportunity sitting in the uranium supply chain. But the really big question is, why is this all happening now? Why does this matter more today than ever before? The answer is that there's a massive structural shift fundamentally changing how we power our world. And it really comes down to what you could call the AI paradox. Think about it. The world's most advanced information technology, these silicon chips, are completely 100% dependent on the world's most dense form of energy, uranium, to even function at a global scale. Artificial intelligence has this insatiable, unstoppable hunger for 24/7 baseload power. It's really this simple. This is the brain, and this is the muscle. One cannot exist and grow to a planetary scale without the other. The future of AI is therefore completely tied to the future of clean, reliable baseload nuclear energy. And this isn't some far-off theory. This is a perfect storm of demand that is happening right now as we speak. You've got data centers signing direct power deals with nuclear plants. You've got countries all across Asia building new reactors at a record pace. And you have major policy shifts happening in Europe and even Japan, bringing them back to the nuclear table. All of these forces are converging at once. So as we're standing right here on the edge of this new technological revolution, we have to ask ourselves, have we been overlooking the one thing that makes it all possible? Is it possible that this tiny, unassuming rock is not just the key to our energy future, but maybe, just maybe, it's the single most undervalued and misunderstood asset of the 21st century?